How to get your ex to like you more than ever. I know it could seem like a very daunting task, the idea that you could possibly get your ex to like you again, but even more so to get your ex to like you more than your ex previously liked you. But I'm here to tell you that this is very possible, and I'm going to show you how to do so. As human beings, both as men and women, we gravitate towards people who make us very happy. Everything we do is in the pursuit of increasing our joy, increasing our state of well-being. Oftentimes when we end a relationship, it is because the relationship no longer fulfilled that role for us. We no longer feel happy in the relationship. We no longer feel fulfilled. And there is a lot of discord, a lot of uneven, off-balance energy in the relationship. And oftentimes when we get to the end of the relationship, we no longer even like the person that we were with before. If you are at the end of your relationship and there is still a bit of love in you towards your ex, but you may think that your ex no longer loves you, then you really need to stay tuned so that I can share with you what you are doing incorrectly and what you can now do to reverse that. All of us to some degree has a series of good qualities, as well as qualities that may be unfavorable to our relationship. It's okay, nobody's perfect. And some of the qualities that you possess that may not be acceptable to one partner might be perfectly okay with another partner. However, it's important to understand something, and that is that the proportion of negative characteristics and negative qualities determine whether your relationship survives or it doesn't survive. It also determines whether or not your relationship gets to a point where your partner dislikes you, or whether or not the relationship flourishes and your partner remains in love with who you are. Sometimes we enter relationships and we take our partners for granted. It's important when we are in a relationship that we take time to examine our nature and what we bring into the relationship. We can often get so comfortable that we take our relationship for granted. When our relationship gets so bad that our partner can dislike us, it is usually for a series of qualities that we repeatedly did that either lasted too long or we never really fixed. You have to ask yourself, how many things were you doing in your previous relationship that caused your partner to feel unhappy? And for how long did you keep your partner feeling unhappy? The longer you create that feeling of unhappiness, the harder it is to fix, and the more you cause your partner to dislike you. We are all impacting the other person's feelings every day. Whether it be a friendship or a relationship, we're all influencing how people think and feel around us. And if you're used to doing something with your partner that caused your partner distress, and you've done it long enough, it's going to have a longer lasting effect on your partner to the point that the partner is not going to like you. Now take an example. Say, for example, your partner says, babe, you argue too much every day. Every day you do this thing, you argue with me over something very simple. What happens when you argue with the person and they're telling you that they don't like it, you are creating a feeling of unease within that person. You're causing that person to feel a bit of disharmony. And say you do that every single day, what happens is that feeling of disharmony grows and grows and grows inside of that person. And it grows to the point that it begins to take over that person's spirit, it begins to take over that person's energy field, and it begins to take over that person's mind until they become saturated with that feeling of disgust that practically everything you do now becomes something that they don't like. It's because you have literally injected them with a feeling of disharmony every single day that it has built up over a period of time. And now what that person feels when they look at you or when you come around is possibly not only dislike, but they may get to the point where they literally feel sick of you. And it's for those reasons that relationships come to an end, to the point where one partner actually dislikes the other person. You're disliked because you created that feeling inside of the other person. You injected them with qualities or characteristics that made them feel uncomfortable for so long that the only thing that the only memory they have of you, the only feeling they have of you is a feeling which makes them feel uncomfortable. And anything that makes us feel uncomfortable, obviously we're going to dislike. So you are going to be associated with that discomfort. And naturally, the more you do it and the longer you do it, the more dislike your partner feels towards you. So if you're questioning whether or not you can get your ex to like you again, you have to first be willing to examine what you did that may have gotten your ex to the point where he or she no longer liked you. One advantage you have is that at some point your partner did like you. So one of the things that you want to do is to get a pen and paper and to reflect. Do some serious work and be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, what qualities did your partner enjoy about you? What did you do, or what moments did the two of you share that made your partner happy? Now, on the reverse, what you want to do is to reflect upon what you did to make your partner feel uncomfortable. And you cannot decide if it is worthy or not worthy of making him or her uncomfortable. The bottom line is every human being is different. And if your partner felt that something you were doing was affecting them, they're eventually going to dislike you. So you have to be honest with yourself if you really want to get your partner to like you all over again. And you've got to ask yourself, what were you doing that made your partner dislike you? And for how long were you doing it? And if you want to be seriously honest with yourself and to go deeper, reflect on how your actions may have impacted your partner. In what way did it trigger your partner? What level of emotional distress did it cause upon your partner? And if you're not willing to examine that, then you're not going to be able to get your partner to like you again. It could be very simple and it could be very, very grave. It could be very big. But the bottom line is, if you're doing something that a person doesn't like and you're doing it for a duration of time, think of it as injecting someone with a serum or poison. Every day you're adding a little dose of that poison, a little dose of that poison. What happens over time, that poison builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up until it takes over the entire system. And basically that's what we do to each other when someone gets to the point where they absolutely dislike us. Now that you understand what you did to get your partner to go from being happy and loving and enjoying your company to actually disliking you, now that you understand what you may have done to take your partner from the place of loving you and wanting to be with you to the phase of disliking you, you can now work this in the reverse. Just as you've saturated your partner with qualities that may have built up over a period of time, this feeling of dislike, you can now build feelings of like all over again. And what you need to do is to examine what are the qualities your partner liked about you. What are the things your partner enjoyed? What were the qualities and the moments that your partner cherished about you? Ideally, you would want to do this when the relationship is going sour. You would want to reflect on the qualities that your partner enjoyed and begin to bring that to the table more frequently. But when the relationship has gone a distance, when the person has gone to the point where the two of you are now ex-partners, you're going to need to recreate a new relationship. When the time is right, you would want to reintroduce yourself to your partner. And by that, I don't mean reintroduce as if, you're meeting them for the first time. But in a way, you should tackle it as if you're meeting them for the first time. You would want to bring that feeling to the experience, and that is to start afresh. Rather than bringing up the old issues, you want to fix those issues. You want to be aware of what it is that you did which caused the relationship to go bad, and then work on those qualities within yourself, fix them, and start off by letting your partner know that you have fixed those issues. You may want to do little things like send little cards or postcards or little positive notes, and what that does is to open the gate so that the two of you can start a dialogue. The two of you can begin to communicate again. And once the communication is free-flowing, you can let your partner know that you are aware of some of the things that you did incorrectly and that you have changed those qualities within yourself. Once your partner has given you the opportunity to spend time with him or her, then you have the opportunity to reinforce the qualities that your partner really cherished about you. One thing you don't want to do is to bring up the past and to bring up the negative aspects of the relationship. Second, try to be more lighthearted and more uplifting when you are in your partner's company. Try to be a little more playful and bring some humor to the times that you do meet and do communicate. Try to be lighthearted. Make the conversations fun. Talk about things that the two of you did together that really brought a lot of joy to the relationship. The more you do this, the more positive and the more happy feelings you're able to introduce to your partner. So what happens is that you're now taking the partner's mind away from the things that they disliked and the things that made them feel uncomfortable to now reminding them of the things that the two of you shared that made each other happy and joyful and connected. While this seems like a very simple technique, it is an extremely effective technique because within your partner, there is always the memory of the good times. And what you are doing is simply invoking those good, happy memories. The more you do that, the more you're able to, again, in the reverse, infuse them with positive memories, positive reminders of the relationship, which will then bring about happy thoughts, happy feelings. What you will eventually do is shift their mind from all of the things that they disliked about you to the things that they actually do like about you. And that has to be a concerted effort on your part. You've got to consciously and methodically remind your partner or your ex of the things that brought joy between the two of you. And the more you do it over time, your ex will have positive memories about you and will shift from the place of disliking you to a place of liking you again. And from there, you can do what is necessary to build that feeling of connection and sensual connection between you and your partner. One of the things that happens in relationships when one person gets to dislike the other is that there is a loss of sensuality, there's a loss of connection, and there's a loss of chemistry. What you want to do is to reintroduce a more sensual connection between you and your partner. And once you're able to create that, along with the positive memories that your partner has of you, or the happier memories that your partner has of you, you will find that the relationship can then move again from a place of dislike to a place of really rediscovering who you are all over again. If you find this information helpful, please like, share, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Also, click the link inside this video where you can download an incredible audio program which will introduce you to the secrets of magnetism.